Gaza. The very name evokes images of conflict, suffering, and seemingly intractable division. This small strip of land bordering the Mediterranean Sea and nestled between Israel and Egypt carries a heavy weight of history. Home to over 2 million people, Gaza is a land where ancient civilizations once thrived, a crossroads for empires and trade routes. Yet it is also a land scarred by decades of conflict, displacement, and a humanitarian crisis that has gripped its population for far too long. Understanding Gaza's present requires a journey into its past, a past marked by both moments of hope and periods of profound despair. From its ancient roots as a center of trade and culture to its modern-day struggle for survival, Gaza's story is a complex tapestry woven with threads of resilience, resistance, and an enduring yearning for peace. This is a story that demands our attention, for it is a story that speaks to the human cost of conflict and the urgent need for a just and lasting solution. Long before the headlines of conflict, Gaza was a vibrant hub of civilization. Its strategic location on the coastal route linking Egypt and Mesopotamia made it a coveted prize for empires throughout history. The ancient Egyptians, Philistines, Babylonians, Persians, Greeks, and Romans all left their mark on this land, shaping its culture and identity. Gaza's legacy extends beyond empires. It holds religious significance for both Judaism and Islam. The biblical story of Samson, the strongman who toppled the temple of Dagon, unfolded in Gaza. Islamic tradition reveres Gaza as the resting place of Hashim, the great-grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad. This shared history adds another layer of complexity to the modern-day conflict, as competing narratives and claims to the land fuel tensions and complicate the search for peace. The Ottoman Empire, which had ruled Gaza for centuries, crumbled after World War I. The region, along with Palestine, came under British control. This period witnessed a growing Zionist movement advocating for a Jewish homeland in Palestine, leading to increased Jewish immigration to the region. Gaza, with its diverse population of Muslims, Christians, and Jews, became a microcosm of the rising tensions and competing aspirations that would soon engulf the land. The British, caught between their promises to both Palestinians and Zionists, struggled to maintain order. The stage was set for a conflict that would forever alter the fate of Gaza and its people. 1948 marked a turning point in Gaza's history, a year etched in the collective memory of Palestinians as the Nakba, or catastrophe. The United Nations proposed partitioning Palestine into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem under international control. The plan was accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab leaders, and war erupted. In the aftermath of the war, Israel was established, and over 700,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes, many seeking refuge in neighboring countries, including Gaza. Gaza itself came under Egyptian administration, becoming a haven for refugees and a symbol of Palestinian dispossession. Life under Egyptian rule was, really a mix of hope and uncertainty. Gaza became a center of Palestinian nationalism, a place where refugees clung to the dream of return and the hope of a future Palestinian state. Schools, hospitals, and cultural institutions were established, fostering a sense of community and shared identity. However, the shadow of the 1948 war loomed large. The presence of refugees strained Gaza's limited resources, and tensions simmered along the border with Israel. The stage was set for another chapter in Gaza's turbulent history. The 1967 Six-Day War dramatically reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. Israel, victorious in the war, occupied the Gaza Strip, along with the West Bank and East Jerusalem. This marked the beginning of Israel's military occupation of Gaza, a period that continues to this day. The occupation brought about profound changes in the lives of Gazans. Israeli settlements were established, land was confiscated, and movement restrictions were imposed, fueling Palestinian resentment and sparking resistance. Palestinian resistance groups, including the Palestine Liberation Organization and later Hamas, emerged, vowing to fight for their people's liberation. The 1990s witnessed a glimmer of hope with the signing of the Oslo Accords between Israel and the PLO. The accords aimed to establish a framework for peace based on a two-state solution. However, the optimism that accompanied Oslo proved to be short-lived. The peace process faltered, violence escalated, and the situation in Gaza continued to deteriorate. The rise of Hamas, a Palestinian Islamist group, opposed to the Oslo Accords and committed to Israel's destruction, further complicated the situation. Hamas's victory in the 2006 Palestinian legislative elections, followed by its takeover of Gaza in 2007 after a brief civil war with Fatah, led to a tightening of the Israeli blockade and further isolation of the Strip. Since 2007, Gaza has been under a crippling Israeli-Egyptian blockade, severely restricting the movement of people and goods in and out of the territory. The blockade, coupled with repeated military operations, has plunged Gaza into a humanitarian crisis of staggering proportions. Unemployment is rampant, poverty is widespread, and access to basic necessities like clean water, electricity, and healthcare is severely limited. The people of Gaza, particularly children, bear the brunt of this crisis, their lives and futures held hostage to a conflict that seems to offer no end in sight. As we stand at this critical juncture, Gaza's future hangs in the balance. The cycle of violence, the humanitarian crisis, and the lack of a political horizon paint a bleak picture. Yet, amidst the despair, there is a glimmer of hope, a flicker of resilience that refuses to be extinguished. The international community must act decisively to break the cycle of violence and address the root causes of the conflict. The blockade must be lifted, the occupation must end, and the Palestinian people must be granted their long-denied right to self-determination. Only then can Gaza and its people hope for a future free from violence and despair, a future where peace and justice finally prevail.